auto, home, business, life, or health insurance. They're here to protect what matters to you most. You can check them out at royaloathinsurance.com or give them a call at 586-238-3535. And of course, today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends at Connection, the CRM built for closers. If you're a real estate agent, entrepreneur, or small business owner looking to automate, follow up, and close more deals and stay top of mind, then Connection is your secret weapon. Go to yourconnection.com and take control of your pipeline today. Now, whether you're tuning in live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, or X, catching the replay on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you stream, we're glad you're here. Do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment, and share this with a friend, and make sure you're subscribed.
This call is being recorded.
All right, guys, let's get locked in. We've got a powerhouse show lined up today, and if you're in business or real estate or just building something big, this one is for you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back into the Elite Real Estate Podcast on this fine Friday morning. Again, I am super happy to have my guest in studio today. It's always nice to get somebody in studio. But Dani Stalker is in studio with me today, and we're going to be talking and digging into HOMEstretch and what it is, why it happens, what it is, and all it is, and why it's important. And guys, I am serious. This is a very important piece for real estate agents, especially, and knowing what you guys do with your business. So, Sean, go ahead, man, introduce yourself, and let's hear about HOMEstretch.
Sure. Thanks for having me today here, Jimmy. I appreciate it.
Of course, man.
So first off, I'm here on behalf of my wife. She's the owner of HOMEstretch.
Yeah, we're going to dig into this too,
Okay.
But yeah.
So what we do essentially, or what HOMEstretch does, is she partners with agents to get homes ready to sell quickly. And they zero in on cosmetic improvements that help improve the condition of the home and lead to a higher sale price, shorter time on market.
Yeah.
All of that's done with, I think, one of the main value propositions is speed. So once a deal is signed, they look at what work needs to be done, and she can line it all up to have it done in 4 to 5 business days. You have a listing that's ready to hit the market that looks a lot different than when she first got there.
Yeah. It's actually putting perfume on the pig.
Yeah. Or lipstick.
Yeah, lipstick. Yeah.
I've heard that before too.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it's again, it's sprucing up. It's so, because a lot of times it happens with us agents, right? We walk into a house or the listing appointment, or whatever, and people are like, "Oh my God, my house," and they'll tell you how good it is over the phone. And then when you actually walk in, you're like, I don't know, man, if this is sellable at this moment or not. But let's sit down. So at that listing appointment, it's important to have that conversation and be like, all right, well, how fast do you want to get it on the market? When do we want to sell it? And then, but to have this tool in your tool belt, so she can get this done in 3 to 4 days, like
it really
depending
depends
on what it is.
Yeah, the scope of the project. So with HOMEstretch, it's a franchise that started 7 years ago in Ohio, and they found this kind of niche part of the market where the two owners were working at doing estate auctions, and they were auctioning off all the stuff that grandma left behind or your aunt passed away and it's in the garage. And they were finding that was going really well, but at the same time, the people that were selling the home were saying, you know what we could really use? This home is outdated.
Yeah.
The wallpaper's old. The carpet's beat up. It looks like grandma's house from 30 years ago.
Sure.
Which doesn't sell today. Not in the current conditions, right? Condition really matters right now. And so they saw this way to, well, what if we could solve that problem as well for this person? And by doing multiple projects as one vendor with one phone call, you take the stress and all the legwork away from the seller, take it off their plate, and they get a better product to put on the market.
Yeah. And the interesting part about this too is how your wife got into this, because this wasn't like her dream to be a home remodeler.
No, I mean, in a way, I will tell you it kind of is, because I think my wife, for a period there, really did watch a lot of Love It or Listed or the flip shows. Those are kind of always on in the house. And she has, and her name's Danielle. She goes by Dani. She has a really good eye for like her vision for how to transform a room or take a house, to look at a house and say, oh, this could be this if they did this. And she has that ability to see more of what's there. So when this opportunity came around, I was like, well, that really lines up well to something that she's good at and enjoys doing.
Right.
And if you find something that you're good at and you enjoy doing, it becomes less work, and more enjoyable.
Yeah.
So
100%. 100%. Like that saying is true. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. Right. But for you guys too, it's you're married, 3 kids, you have a full-time job. This is her business.
Yeah.
Right. But it allows her to still be the mom and
exactly
everything she wants to be.
I mean, I'll go as far back. I think this really, if you're, this decision for the two of us,
Yeah.
It's not like when your wife is ready to go to work and wants to gets a job. When you're going to start a business, it's a bigger investment of time.
Much bigger.
You're investing money into this business, right? They're just signing up to work somewhere and getting a paycheck. So it's a big decision as a family.
Yeah.
Right. How are we going to do this? And, the truth of the matter is it really started probably around 2003, 2020, 23, 24.
Okay.
And that's when I got sick, and it kind of opened my eyes and I think my wife's eyes a little bit. So the short version of the story is I'm a stage 4 colon cancer survivor. I'm in remission. This is a little over 2 years.
Incredible.
And so that was about 3 years ago. And so when something like that happens in your life, it kind of just opens your eyes to, well, what if?
Right.
Like what happened? What were to happen if, this doesn't go well for me, if I'm not here?
We don't, knock on wood, we don't want that to happen.
Of course.
Right.
Right.
But again, this is what changes as parents too, right? Like we start thinking about some stuff that we don't necessarily want to think about, but we have to, because it's real life stuff.
Yeah. It forces you to face some things. And I realized, like, sure, I've had a great career and a really good job, but if I were to go away tomorrow, the job goes away.
Right.
That's it. My wife had been staying home with her kids up until this point, while they were in their early years, getting ready to go to school. Now all of our kids are in school, so we wanted to make the decision. And you say, like, okay, well, if my job goes away, what do we have? What am I leaving my wife with, my family with? What do they have to sustain our lifestyle? And we landed on really the idea that starting our own business, building our own thing that can generate income for our family, that she can work in, we can build, it grows. That could be something that really has much more value than just having a job that you really like.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that's kind of what leads us to you being here today and not her. Is that, but that ability to shift that gear and be mom, right? But the business still runs. Like that's again, the joy and the pain of entrepreneurship is you get to run your own business, which again, you can kind of, if you're scheduling everything right, you can move some things around. But the pain to that is you're running your own business.
It's a double-sided coin for sure. So she had to take care of something with my daughter this morning. And my wife has been great at, even as we've taken this on, her number one priority is still our kids. Like every day.
Sure.
Like she's like, I am a mom first. I will always be a mom first. Our kids need me. I'm going to be there. And I don't care about anything else in that moment. And it's something that I admire about her a lot.
Yeah.
And so she's so much better at it than I am. It's like, and so when something like this happens, she needs to be somewhere, like, and I can, like, you know what? I'd love to go talk to Jimmy for you. It's Friday morning. It's early. I'll do it. You be where you need to be. And so, having your own business allows you a little bit of that flexibility, working from home, making some of those own decisions. You don't always have the total flexibility, but at the same time, it does allow us to have the balance that we wanted, because we didn't want to do something. The idea is to do more for our family, right? At the end of the day,
right.
It's like, okay, what can we do with this? What if we did this? What more could we do with our kids? What trip could we take that we're not thinking about taking right now? And so you don't want to do something for your kids and then have it suck away all your time with your kids.
Right.
So that I'm doing this for them, but I'm never around, or I can't be there, or I'm missing things for it. So it's striking that balance between doing the two.
Yeah. I refer to that. So everybody used to talk about work-life balance.
Yeah.
I don't call it work-life balance anymore, because there is no such thing.
Yeah.
It's work-life blend, right? And how can we blend these things together, and how can they live together in harmony? And how can I also live in a place where I don't feel guilty being with my family because I should be working, or how do I not feel guilty that I'm working and should be with my family? Like it's trying to figure out that balance of, so that's where I've kind of dug in with this, the emotional intelligence thing of, figuring out when can I balance this time out, right? Like, can I spend time with my family and my business be okay? And can I spend time in my business and then my family be okay? Right. So it's like trying to figure out that blend, and then sometimes they'll just blend together. I can be at a basketball game or something, step out, take a phone call, right, and then come back in. Like so, I'm blending those things together, and that's the joy of an entrepreneurship and owning your own business. You know,
being able to pull the two. Yeah, I talk to my team a lot about that, and in the space that I work in sales, I try to draw a line between the work hours and the non-work hours. Say, look, it's 8 to 5. This is the general hours we work.
right,
We'll communicate. We're going to go work hard. After 5 o'clock, you're not going to hear from me till 8 o'clock the next day,
right,
unless the house is on fire. Like the problem will be there in the morning. I want you to separate, go be with your family, so that when you come back to work, you can be all in at work.
right.
Because you're not always juggling the two. But different jobs, lend itself to that. I mean, if you're working, you have needs, in real estate where you have clients calling you at night, you have showings at night, you have all times of day that you have to deal with issues. It's probably harder for you, right?
If you're not scheduling it correctly, yes, right. So I'm big on protecting my time, right. So I'm big. So I just had I was just talking to some agents the other day, and I said, don't ever tell a client you're a 24/7 agent, because you're not. Now, if you tell your client that, when they call you at 3 a.m. on Tuesday, you have to answer the phone because you told them you're 24/7, right? So that's why I'm like, you're not 24/7, because you don't want to answer that phone call at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. So don't put that perception out there. Like, I'll always be there for you. I will always be there for you. Not at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday though, right? Like, because so I've become to the habit of my phone hits do not disturb at times, right? So I'm not answering at that time.
I love that.
Right. But I'm very, with my clients up front, like, hey, this is what I'm going to communicate with you. This is how I'm going to communicate with you. What's the best way for me to communicate with you? That's one of the questions I ask too. Like, what's one of the best ways for me to communicate with you? Is it text, email, phone call? How do you want me to do this? Typically it's text messages now. Nobody wants to even talk on the phone anymore. But it's like, then I just put those regulations in. So I'm very structured with my time. So typically my mornings are I call them my mornings, my money making time, right? Like that's when I'm prospecting for business, trying to find new business. My afternoons are typically for appointments, like showings, because people we work with, normal people, are after 5 o'clock, you're doing showings because they can't go during the middle of the day, usually. But that also is my family time too, right? So I put everything in my calendar. Basketball games, practice, all these things, right? All have to go in there, because otherwise I don't know. My ADD brain doesn't work that way. Like I have to see it on my calendar. Otherwise I miss it. It skips me, right? So if it's not in there, I don't do it.
I'm curious, do you find that managing time is one of the biggest challenges the agents you work with deal with?
100%. And I don't regulate that to just agents. I think that's entrepreneurs in general, because entrepreneurs, like business owners, we typically have ADD or some sort of it, right? We all do. I think 100% of the population of the world has some sort of ADD, right? Like not everybody can stay without drugs. Nobody can stay that focused for that long, right? So, I look at it as entrepreneurs, like you're a business owner, right? Your wife owns the business. So she has to manage her time and be very stringent with her time too, because of the kids, right? And you're supporting you and, doing all that stuff. Like she has to be very stringent with that time. So if she's not, all of a sudden the waters get muddied, and now oh crap, I got to go to school. I got to take them here. And then I got to go meet this client for this house that we're supposed to be renovate. Like, so if you're not structured with your time, that's when you start to miss stuff. So I think it's entrepreneurs and business owners in general.
I'm guessing the agents then too, that what probably suffers is the prospecting time, because they're chasing problems
100%
with
the
current folk.
Exactly.
Yeah, we notice that. I can see that in this space.
Yeah.
With what my wife's doing is that you get jobs, all of a sudden they're really busy working on the projects, and then the prospecting slows down.
Yep.
Because now you're invested in the problem that's right in front of you, and you're not thinking a month or 2 months out.
Exactly.
That suffers, and then you wake up one day and you're like, okay.
Yeah. We call it the real estate roller coaster, right? Because you're prospecting for business, you're finding business, and now it starts to happen. Oh man, I got 2-3 deals happening. I'm at the top of this. So, but now I'm focused so much on those two deals that I'm not prospecting anymore, and those 2 deals close. Well, now I've got nothing. So now I got to like do this heavy lift again. Right. So that's where the importance of staying structured throughout the day it becomes, because the statistics on real estate agents will tell you that even through the worst of market times, right? Because we are dealing with a market shift, right? Like things happen that are out of our control. But agents that stay consistent prospecting, they never have that drastic drop off, right? I mean, if you look at agents, even in just our local market, that have been in the business for 20 years, that have found success, it's just because they stay consistent. The market still went up and down. It still did its thing. It still slowed, right? But it didn't drop off. Where agents are finding this big drop off, that's when they get out of the business, because now I've got no money coming in, but I've got money going out. And now I need to go back to a 9 to 5, because I just need to fill that void of where's this money coming from?
Yeah.
So that's the biggest issue we find with real estate agents, is that void of, all right, when's my next deal? Right. So I'm big on like filling your pipeline. Okay. If I can get 5 people this week to say yes, that they want to buy a house, not all 5 are going to buy, right? A couple are going to have bad credit scores. They're not going to be ready until January, right, of next year. Some are not going to be ready till July, right? So, but if every week I can add 5 people into that pipeline, they're going to start buying, right? They're going to start buying and selling. You just have to keep adding those people in there, which I'm sure is probably the same thing with you guys in HOMEstretch.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because
I've seen this, it was a couple weeks ago, and my wife has Hunter as our project manager, and she joined working with her from the beginning. So the two of them, and my father-in-law helps out, Carrie, he's a great guy, with some of the handyman work. And so the 3 of them were working on like 3 different projects in the same week, and so like you can see that, I'm walking down the stairs to go to my office, and I see them just huddling and just solving problems and just dealing with this paint color for this, one bathroom, and they're zeroed in on that. And then it's like, okay. And then a week later, it slowed down because all the energy was going towards the problems right in front of you. So solving for that, I think, is like the number one challenge that the business has. It's just
100%.
You realize, like, I think when I first saw this idea, it looked like it's about getting this work done. How do they go in and do this work, right? When really it is a marketing problem.
Right.
How do you create awareness, demand, and interest? And then there's the part of the business already been designed and scalable for HOMEstretch is actually a lot easier than the marketing.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that's the system.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what else it goes back to too. I talk about this all the time. If you don't have the right systems and processes in place, that's your foundation. Right. And how am I making all these connections? Right. How am I making all these connections to find more people to do more? So it's now with technology, it's helped us out a lot. Right. I know you guys are you guys using Connection?
Yeah. She signed up with Justin back in January.
Yeah.
So Justin's team has been doing their outreach through their app, cold calling agents, and they connected us.
Yeah.
So that's what he does.
Yeah.
Right. So, that was the decision early in the year to improve that marketing outreach, and Justin seemed like a great choice.
Yeah.
It's been really good so far.
Yeah. I swear he's on, it's his ads on here right now, but no, it's been phenomenal for my business. You know what I mean? Like again, because it's about getting in, how many people can I get in front of? Because somebody's got to say yes. So, but the more people I get in front of, the more opportunity people say yes, right? So it's like, how can I get in front of that many more people? And it's technology now, right? AI is part of it, right? But I think the more the structure of it is more important. The CRM part is more important, because how can I keep putting people in there, and then how can I stay in front of them? And it's like, I have drip campaigns, and I have all these things that are happening on the back end that before you learn how to use this stuff, you were doing it all on your own. Sending out an email and doing all, it's like, oh man, I don't want to do any of this stuff. But if you have a system that does it, it's incredible.
Yeah. It's a lot of work writing the emails if you're doing it yourself.
Yeah.
It takes forever.
Yeah.
And just managing that CRM, I know if you don't have a system and you don't have the contacts, just from my experience in sales, it's like you're missing opportunities every day.
Right.
By not following up when you said you were supposed to follow up by forgetting about somebody or letting it slip through the cracks. And those things just slow down your ability to take off so much.
The follow-up is the worst at, because it goes back to that ADD part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah, we had this great conversation, and you're in sales.
Yeah.
You had this great conversation. You talked to somebody today. Awesome. Then what?
What happened next, right?
Yeah. And it's the statistic, I think, offhand, is I think it's like 89% of agents never follow up after that first contact. So think about that. Like 89, like everybody's really pretty good at having the first conversation. But you go to a networking event, right? Like you guys are with Real Producers.
Yeah.
So the Real Producers events are fantastic. So you go to a Real Producers event, you meet a bunch of agents, and then what? Do you call them? Do you email? Like what happens after that? And that's what I think that's the superpower. Is again, then when you can plug technology into it, now all of a sudden I'm staying in front of them and everything works out great.
And it's still keeping your ability to manage your time.
Yeah.
Because it's taking that off your plate.
Yeah, 100%.
That is one of the, when we talk about HOMEstretch and what they do for agents and the reason why the business partners with agents effectively. And I've seen this because the folks that have started to work with her are calling back.
Right.
Saying in the middle of their first project, like, I've got another place I want you to live.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden they can see the value in, you talk about balancing time, right? And say you're a newer agent, and it's the same way as a newer business owner. You want to say yes to everything. I'm your 24/7 guy. I'll solve every problem because I just need to make some money.
Yeah.
I need to close some deals. Like, I need to make this happen.
This to happen right now.
So I'm going to do whatever it takes, right? And you overcommit and you do all those things. And so, yeah, sure, I'll help you. I got a painter, or I'll come over here. I'll clean up. I'll clean your kitchen for you. Don't worry. Like, I'll, just that go above and beyond. Whereas if you have a service like HOMEstretch that you're partnered with, and you can say, look, we need to do 3 or 4 things to get this place ready. I recommend you call this one company. They'll handle all 4 things for you. They'll get it done quickly. They price it fairly, and you're not going to have to worry about getting this place ready to list. Now it does 2 things. It makes the seller perks up, because now they're like, that sounds easier. And you as an agent, right? You're not stuck meeting. Like, how much money do you make, Jimmy, if you're meeting a vendor at a listing because they need someone to let them in to take a look at carpet?
Yeah. It's so hard because it's such a waste of time for me. You know what I mean? Like, it's part of the process, right? But but explain to everybody what HOMEstretch actually does.
Yeah.
And is.
Okay. So, it's kind of like the simplest way to describe it is like a general contractor model for getting a home cosmetically ready. It's like my wife's not in there painting with Hunter. They're they're painting professionals. They have a deal with Sherwin-Williams to do flooring, commercial flooring, deal on their paint. She's got handyman that she works with, cleaning people. So she has all those folks lined up, right? So if you have a house, so you walk into a listing this afternoon, you walk in and you're like, it's a great neighborhood. I know I can get a good price for this. But right when you walk in, the carpet is just beat to hell, right? It's kind of funky. It gives you that first impression of like, each bedroom's a different color, purple, pink, blue. The kitchen's outdated. There's a lot of the oak trim like you see in the Rochester homes that are around everywhere. It just makes it look dated. What my wife will do, or Hunter or Carrie, they'll come out within 24 hours and walk the place with the agent, with the seller, depends on the scenario, make recommendations on what to do. And then within about 24 hours later, she's emailing them detailed quote for up to 5 or 6 different services. So clearing out a home, let's say someone had to move or someone passed away, unfortunately. So clear out, painting, flooring. They do handyman work in terms of like light fixtures, new mirrors, that kind of stuff that just makes the place cosmetically look better. Final clean before you take your photos. And then she hasn't done a lot of exterior landscaping because of what the last 3 months has been like in Michigan.
Right. Oh my God.
As it starts
Unless
to pick
just
up.
Snow removal.
Yeah. So but in the spring, that'll be a big part of what they do too, is like, hey, you need to mulch, we'll have someone mulch these beds, like all those things. And so you can get 4 or 5 different things done from one vendor without having to call 4 to 5 vendors. And that's only if you're accepting the quote from that painter, from that floor person that you get.
Right.
If you want to shop it, I'm going to get a couple quotes to paint this. That's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
But just to find the people, call them, wait for them to come out to your home. You have to be there to meet them. Then you got to wait for them a week to get you a quote emailed back to you. This whole thing is slowing the process down. And so when people say, "Oh, I don't fix homes up. I just sell them as is."
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't blame you.
Right.
It's a lot of work. And if it's going to fall on your plate, it's not making you any money, not enough to justify it. But what if you called this one number, they handled everything for you, they got it done within a week's time, and now your seller also doesn't have to pay for it until they close. They can defer the payment on the improvements, the investment in the home until at closing.
Yeah.
You think more of your sellers would be interested in doing that? And if they'd say yes, it's a win-win. You're going to list for a higher price. You're going to sell it faster. It's not going to sit on the market as long, right? So it's a win for you. And then the seller, the same thing. They're not walking away and they're leaving money on the table.
Yeah. There's two things I want to unpack out of what you just described there. The first one is, you're a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
So it's because for those of you that haven't, try to get a contractor to show up to the house. One, try to get 3 different painters to show up at 3 different times because you don't want them all there at one time.
Sure.
Right. Flooring guy, again, you're starting to, if you've never done the home improvement stuff, like trying to get somebody to show up one is the worst because they'll tell you they'll be there. And then the last minute, it's like, oh, they got busy in another place or whatever. Because the hardest part for those guys typically is the prospecting part, right? They're busy. Usually they got jobs, but then they got to go. They're the one doing the job, and now they got to go meet somebody to quote them a price. It's like, because usually somebody doesn't have a team built. They're just the guy, right? Especially the handyman type person, right? Yeah. So, so getting them to show up is the hardest part. So the HOMEstretch just allows your wife to show up, kind of do everything, tell you what, and give you a quote on all of it in one.
Yeah. It's really more of a quote in that it's also a recommendation.
Sure.
I think that's what sets her apart, and what she'll do, or Hunter or Carrie, anyone on the team, they'll talk to the agent first. Say, hey, it's your job to sell this house. What do you think needs to happen in here, right? For you to be able to sell this quickly? What stands out to you as the person that's ultimately going to price this home? And you're going to say, man, they really got to replace the carpet in the basement. Or I really think they got to paint these 2 beds, whatever it is. And so she'll go in knowing that because she wants to partner with you long-term.
Sure.
The seller is probably a one-time interaction, but she wants a relationship with you where, if you call her, they're going to do good work quickly, and they're going to work with me aligned to the same goal.
Right.
Right. So, but it's nice where I think what people like about it is you hear, no one really knows what to fix. A lot of times the sellers are looking at stuff that probably doesn't matter because it bothers them because they live in the house versus instruct them, hey, look, what really matters? What you see when you walk through the front door. That right there.
Yeah.
You have 7 or 8 seconds. People decide right there in the moment, can I see myself living here? Does this place feel like home to me? And if they don't, the odds are it doesn't change as they walk through the rest of the house.
Yeah.
Because it happens right there. So whatever you're seeing when you walk through that front door, it better look nice, updated, clean, simple, right? You don't have to worry as much about the 3rd bedroom upstairs and the half bath that's up there. Those are like small projects for people, but that feeling of emotion, I pull up to the home and say, wow, I'd love to live here. That's a nice house. Like, that's the kind of stuff that she'll advise people to invest their money on versus, hey, we need to redo the whole kitchen. Probably don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably not going to get your money back. In some cases, it's worth it, I'm sure. But in general, if it's structurally good, sometimes painting the cabinets or putting a new flooring down, changing the fixtures on the cabinets and putting new lighting in can do enough to make that impression and then minimize your investment going out.
Yeah. And you're so right, because again, that's the hardest part is the explaining that to clients a lot of times, because they are emotionally attached to their house, right? Johnny grew up here and whatever. But I think that idea of for an agent, like bringing in another voice is big. To have your wife come in and walk with me, tell them exactly too, because now we're partners, right? Because I want them to sell, right? But again, goes back to the same thing I'm thinking, right? The more expensive the house, the more I make.
Yeah.
So but it's a win-win for everybody. And the second thing to unpack, and I want everybody, if everybody hadn't heard what you said, was you pay for this at closing, right?
It's there's a credit. I'd have to check with her.
Sure.
There's a credit. It has to be it's good credit.
Sure.
And there's a couple options. I know they have a traditional financing option that can go out 7 to 10 years. So you make it a really low payment that you start paying for a couple months. You sell the home, and there's no prepayment penalty. So that's one way to go about it. So you might pay $100 a month for 3 months and then just pay the balance. But they work with a company called Notable, and it's designed just for these types of, financial transactions.
Yeah.
So it's tied to, you have to just prove that you have a deal with a realtor, that you own the home, that you're listing it, and then you can get a line of credit to do work with HOMEstretch. And what's really cool, I was kind of impressed when I heard this, was that, let's say they decide, my wife, where they're going to paint and floor, and they have the price to do that. Notable approves them. They'll approve them up to a certain amount, and then that seller can actually access additional funds to do other things in their home, as long as it's tied to home improvement.
Okay.
So if you also need a new hot water heater or a new HVAC system before you sell it, or there's something else that is beyond the scope of what Dani does, you can literally invoice Notable and they'll pay for that item. And now you're not going again into pocket at a time that's really, it's hard. When you're buying and selling, you want as much cash liquid as possible, right? 'Cause
Right.
you need it to buy the next house. You're not looking to spend all your money to sell the home. So this allows you to defer that, get the most you can for the home, and then have the cash you need to buy the next one.
If you're not careful, we're going to make a real estate agent out of you. You're talking like a whole realtor over here. Justin Barton just said, HOMEstretch makes all homes have a great first impression.
Thank you, Justin.
And connection helps. But yeah, I think that you're right. I've literally taken clients into a house, did this, and walked.
Yeah.
Well, because again, it's a waste of time, because I already know by their face and what their reaction is that first second. Because the thing that I always tell agents about too, if they have that look and that feel right when you first walk in, don't show them the rest of it, because they could fall in love with something. Maybe the kitchen's fantastic.
Yeah.
But they're always going to be like, man, but that walking in just didn't feel right. So now you have to find a house that's going to match that kitchen without that feeling of walking in. So it's always a harder sell to go to the next one. You know what I mean? Because they're going to compare it to that one, but they just still don't want to buy that other one. But they're comparing it to that one because they saw that kitchen, and it's just
They saw the great kitchen in the home they didn't really want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now every home that they want doesn't have the kitchen that they like. So you've created a condition that you can't overcome, because
there's dissonance in their decision process.
Exactly.
I totally get it.
Exactly.
Do you think, because it changed. I mean, I imagine it used to be open houses. You go see a home for the first time, you take them in, but nowadays with the apps and the photos and the quality of the photos people produce, I mean, like, is the decision a lot of times made even before they get there, because they've seen so much of the home already on their phone while they're watching Netflix on the couch?
The funny thing is about that is I was just in a mastermind yesterday with a guy that does YouTube. He generates real estate leads through his YouTube channels.
Wow.
And people 51% of buyers now are going to YouTube to find an agent of their house. Like, so people are looking at, again, it's younger generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be 53 next month. So going on YouTube and finding a house for me is like an alien. You know what I mean? Like,
wouldn't have crossed my mind. I'm 47.
Right.
So.
But to be in your 20s, they're on YouTube all the time, right? Like, think my kids, 22 and 14. So a YouTube for them is a normal thing. They're on YouTube all the time. So that's what's changing, right? Is where they're going to find the house, right? It's just like nobody's Googling anything anymore. Everybody's going to chat. Everybody's going into ChatGPT and searching for things. So now Google this is the first time for like, I think it was 2 years ago, the first time Google wasn't the most searched toolbar. It was TikTok. And then that's changed now because TikTok is drastically dropping off. it's not dropping off for the younger generation, but for our generation, it's kind of like, it's cool, it's funny, right? But it's not. Nobody's getting business off TikTok. Some people are. I don't want to say no one. I don't want to broad brush it, but some people are. But I just figured like a lot of I have a TikTok channel, right? And when people go on, I'm thinking, well, it's gonna be 5 years before they can buy a house because they're 15 years old. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be a while before they buy anything. So I'm like, your parents want to buy a house, right? So, but the YouTube thing is interesting because people are going there to find neighborhoods and they're going and searching like Metro Detroit, or they're going and looking at Tampa or wherever they're getting relocated to for work. And they're going to YouTube, plugging that in and saying, all right, well, I need to buy a house. Who's the real estate agent in that area? Well, real estate agents now are becoming these YouTube stars because they're figuring out, I have a good friend down in Florida, Tom Tillier, and Tom does this YouTube stuff in Florida, and he's getting clients from New York that are moving from New York to Florida. They're finding his YouTube channel, calling him, setting an appointment. They fly to Florida. He shows them the house. They buy it. They move to Florida.
Wow. Brilliant,
right? I mean, it's different, right? So it's a different way for people to start looking at stuff, and so I say all that to say like that's where it's important for this house to show correctly, right? If I'm going to go shoot a video at this house, I need it to look good. I can't walk in like a hole in the wall, you know what I mean, or mismatched, even like hardware fixtures on the doors and all that kind of stuff is like people notice that because when you're watching a video, now you're starting to really like get dialed in on those houses.
My wife will tell people it's like the minute you see one thing like that, it's like peeling back the onion.
Oh yeah.
It sends a signal. Okay, there's some, it looks like there might've been some water over here. And then it's it. Now they're on the search. They're looking for more things that could have gotten wrong or the condition that aren't great. And what does that lead to? Either they walk out with you and say, not for me, Jimmy, or they're asking for a price reduction or a concession. To redo something, and now you're making less as an agent because you have your offers going down. So it's you want to minimize that. Sometimes it's just like you got to get this one thing out of here because this is going to cause way more problems for you than you think when someone sees this versus how nicely decorated that bathroom might be upstairs.
And without you guys going in there and doing that too, you're spot on with that because everybody's looking for a discount. Right. If I can get $1,000 off, I'm thinking adjust your payment by like $5.
Doesn't do anything.
You know what I mean? Like it's not really helping you out.
I saw this thing the other day. Actually, it was, I shared it with Dani because it came up on the Apple News on your phone. And I don't know, it was this fact that once you hit 70 years of age in the US, you start to get 5% less for the sale of your home than someone younger than you. Like this.
Interesting.
And it comes down to, they call it deferred maintenance in the article or condition, essentially. If someone's lived in the home for that long, they've probably lived there 20 years. It's either outdated or they've been deferring maintenance to it and not taking care of it the way they used to, maybe when they were younger. And it leads to, so if you have a $400,000 home here in Michigan, you're talking about, they're getting $20,000 less for the sale of that home than if they were 60 years old.
That's very, and I'm going to look that one up because
I'll text it to you.
Yeah, text it to me. That's a very interesting, but I see it. Yeah, it makes sense, right? You can tell when you go into a house and it's outdated, right? And it's the person living there doesn't think it's outdated.
No.
They just redid it.
They're attached to it.
In their brain, they just redid it. It's been 25 years, but in their brain, they just redid it. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh no, we just redid it. Because you think about how time passes in our head, right? It doesn't pass like we don't think of years as years. We just it's days are slow, years are fast. So, but yeah, so they don't think about it that way. So it is an interesting stat, and I bet there's a lot of truth to it because it makes sense.
That is kind of the sweet spot for what my wife does. What HOMEstretch can do, it can work for any home, really. But I think the business took off selling or working with agents that were dealing with older sellers.
Sure.
Because the work's overwhelming. A lot of times it's, unfortunately it's a death or a downsizing. Someone's needs to all of a sudden move into a nursing home or get a different type of care. And now the home, it's been sitting there, it's outdated. It's the niece and the nephew that have been given the responsibility to sell the home. they live an hour away. They have jobs, kids, they have their own life. And now they have this problem that's been dropped in their lap. Like, how do I get this house sold and sold fairly, right? At a good price. You could just sell it as is, but you're leaving that money on the table.
Right.
Right. For that person. And that can go a long way. If that person's going to some type of home where they're receiving care, like, getting an extra $20,000 or $30,000 for the value of your home can do a lot for that person.
Yeah.
So if they don't do it, they're missing that opportunity. And so what she's able to do is make that easier for them. Like, hey, we'll do these 3 or 4 things. We'll make it look more up to date for the younger buyer. The person that found this link on YouTube, when they walk in, is going to be like, oh, okay, wow. And a lot of times it's new carpet and fresh coat of paint. But we worked, she did this home for Jason West. Really nice guy. I got to meet him once, and they wanted to put new carpet in the condo. The gentleman had to move out of the home, but it was like, well, I just did this. Told him I just put this carpet in. It was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But in his mind, he had just paid for it to put it in, but it had to go.
Yeah.
It had passed its lifetime. So Jason was able to talk him into doing it, and the home sold within like less than 2 weeks. So
that's what I mean. Like it in our brain, right? If you lived in your house for long, in your brain, like, oh, I just did that. It's been 5 years, 10 years. It's been a long time since you did that. In my head, I'm like, oh, I just redid that, not thinking that, no, it was 12 years ago. You know what I mean? When you have kids, it's easier because it's like, well, how old was, my son, oldest is Jack. Like, how old was Jack when we did that? You know what I mean? Like, you start to kind of like do that math of like, well, it's like, oh my God, that was 11 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, he's 22 now. It's like you start to think like when he was, but it's like for him to on our brain as a parent, like being 11 for him was like, that was like yesterday.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But no, he's 22 now. Like,
I have a son named Jack too. My middle son is named Jack.
Okay.
6.
Yeah.
So this is your oldest that is down in, what was it? You said Alabama?
Yeah, he's in Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, man, this is such a big thing, I think, for real estate agents that need to really know about this, about what you guys do, because that's one of the biggest things we hear all the time too, is they're getting ready to sell, and whether they're upsizing or downsizing, right? If they're downsizing, typically they're retired, right? They're penny pinching right now, right? And they don't want to spend all this money up front to sell the house because it's outdated. It's got all oak trim everywhere. You know what I mean? It's got maybe some flowers around the top of the wall. Like, the house I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And so that all needs to be done. Or it's I'm in this mid-sized home and I'm upsizing, right? But I need all the cash I can get to upsize. So I can't put all this money into this house right now. Now, when I sell, I'm going to make some money. So I have some equity in this. So that's what I think is the most important thing about the service that you guys provide, is that you don't have to come with it all up front. Now you have to qualify for it. It's not just, it's not a windfall of money that you're making somewhere. But you have to qualify for it. But I think that's the most important thing that real estate agents can use this for, is that person that's kind of on the fence. Do I sell? Do I not sell? I got some stuff I need to do to the house, but I don't want to, I don't want to sink the money into it because am I going to get the money? You're going to get the money out of it, right? Again, to your point, when that person walks into your house, do they see this house and go, oh, wow, like I love this place? Or do they go, I don't know, right? Is that dark, dingy hand stuff on the wall because everybody's been walking in and out of that same door? You know what I mean? You got that worn out patch on the side because everybody's hand brushes against it every time they walk in. So is all that, do they see all that? Or are they seeing like this nice, pristine, clean, smell, fresh? Because again, like I've done a ton of home tours, like video tours, where people are on FaceTime and I just walk them through a house. This is the COVID thing. This is what changed. That changed everything, But like, I think of me, if I'm buying a house, I want to smell it. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to walk in and go, now does it make my eyes water when I do that?
Yeah.
Or do I smell paint and carpet and it feels new, and it's like buying a new car. Like I get that smell of like this whole thing.
New carpet smells really good.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. It changes in paint and carpet. oh, this is recently renovated. This is nice. This is so different. It's funny you mentioned, like, because then old homes just have a smell.
Yeah.
And there's not, unless you paint or pull the flooring out, that smell's going to stay there.
Yeah. And we were talking about before we jumped on, like, we both have dogs. Like, as clean as you keep the dog, as bougie as my dog is, right? Like, there's still he's still a dog. You know what I mean? Like, there's still an animal in the house. And I hope my wife's not watching, because she's gonna yell at me if I say it's an animal in the house. But but no, I think there is something to that, right? There is something, and that's one of the things so this is when I go on a listing appointment, and I'm talking to someone about listing the house, and they're like, what should I do? My thing is this. I always say, think about a hotel room. We all stay in hotel rooms. Somebody else stayed there the night before. But when we walk in, we don't even think about that. Like, that doesn't resonate in us, because why? The bed's made, everything's straightened out. There's not clutter everywhere. There's bland pictures on the wall. There's no, like, your wedding photos shouldn't be up there. Like, it should, so like that whole, like, there shouldn't be slippers under the bed. And, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to show this house and we're going to get the most money we can for it, somebody needs to walk in and feel like they can make it their own. Instead of looking at all your kids' pictures on the wall and, all that's like, my Johnny doesn't look anything like his Johnny. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so that's where my thing is. I was like, make it look like think about a hotel room. Somebody else stayed there than last night. We don't care, right? We hope.
We choose not to care.
We choose not to care.
Our brain just, I think.
We choose not to, because why? It's clean. The bed's made. Like, it's.
Also, I don't want to think about it. Like, I'll be honest. You're talking to a guy that I think I have 1,500 nights in my Marriott account from over the years. So I did I'm like, that's just in the Marriott brand alone. So I've probably spent, roughly 5 years of my life in a hotel room.
Yeah.
And so, like, you just people I'm like, just don't think about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a brand new room. I'm just showing up. And but you're right. The worst feeling you ever have in a hotel room is finding something that someone else left.
Yes.
Because it's like that instant reminder that someone was here the day before, and that banana peel or that coffee cup that they left behind. And you're just like, oh, there's somebody in here.
Yeah. And they might be cleaner than you.
If my family's traveling, they're definitely cleaner than us.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
like,
no doubt.
Kids are leaving crap everywhere. Yeah. Like, it's fine. But no, it's true. Like, but that's what I do with listings. Is I say, you want somebody that's going to walk into this house and feel like that if I buy this, there's not much for me to do. If I walk in, I'm like, oh man, I got to do that. I got to do that. I start thinking about all the stuff we got to fix. Mm-hmm. And get done on top of just, because I always tell clients they should get their ducts cleaned if they're buying a new, if they're buying a house that's not brand new, mm-hmm. you should go in and get your ducts cleaned, like change toilet seats, change, like, all the things you should just change. But again, what is that? It's all money. I'm already seeing it happen. You know what I mean? Like, that's already money. I've already spent money. Now I'm spending more money, right? Like, so if I can do it at the end and not have to,
you don't feel it,
right? You don't feel it, right? It's almost, again, we go back to, we talk about commission, right? If they feel it because we show it to them, right? And which we should. But at the same point, like, if I were to say all right, it's going to be $5,000 for HOMEstretch to come in and mm-hmm. fix whatever it is, it's $5,000. If I have to pay that $5,000, that's like, oh man. But if I do it at closing, I don't even see it. It's like Vegas.
Yeah. It's like it never happened.
Yeah. It's like it never happened. Right. It's like, if you take your kids to Disney and they just scan that wristband, right? You don't feel it. You don't feel it until that bill shows up, and then you're like, oh man. But while they're doing it, you don't feel it. So it's the same thing with this. Like, you're going to get this all done. It's going to get painted. You're going to get all this new hardware, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I'm not paying for it. It's really just it's come some sort of imaginary number at the end.
It's a great point. I think in my mind, when I looked at this whole thing, when going all the way back to when the idea first came across our desk, things to do. You're thinking, all right, who does this make sense for? Why does it make sense? And you think there's a couple of things. There's that, it makes sense to do all this work. Like, no one really argues that, like, addressing these cosmetic things doesn't help the place look better, better. It just comes down to, does the agent promote it? Does the agent bother to tell their client, And does the client want to do it? And the client doesn't want to do it either because they don't want to spend the money, whether it's counterintuitive to spend on something you're about to sell.
Right.
People it's not a normal concept that most people get. I mean, I have to invest to make more. Most people are like, that's costing me this, right? So there's that. And then there's also the hassle part. So if you think about the hassle, and I know there's a house that Hunter is working on with my wife right now where they're living in the home. They're going to get a lot of work done through HOMEstretch, flooring, painting, handyman work, mirrors to get their home ready to sell. And what you don't think about too is the impact on the family that's living in the home, getting the work done.
Yes.
Sometimes they've worked on projects where person moved out, it's empty, come in, do what you need to do, get it ready. That's the easiest. Family of 4 is living in it, teenage daughters. We're going to take, they're going to go in there and take down the bathroom mirrors, right?
Yeah,
so it's
kind of
it's an inconvenience, right? So what Dani can do and Hunter can do, and Hunter's really good at this. She's our project manager. She started right when Dani started back in September. And so what she'll do is she'll take all the things that need to happen and then plan it out to minimize the impact on the people in the house. So if there's multiple vendors that can be there on the same day to get things done, because they're not going to be, if they're doing carpet upstairs and they're working on painting the basement, boom, have them all there. And so instead of having this drag out over the course of multiple weeks where you're like, there's always somebody in my house fixing something, or a paint crew, or I come home and then there's 2 guys smoking a cigarette on the front porch on a cigarette break. Like they're minimizing that all the way down to like as little time as possible. So it's impacting them less. And then it's more palatable to make that decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Because again, it's that flow of it's an inconvenience. If you've ever had work done at your house, it doesn't matter the scope of it or whatever, but if you've ever had any work done at your house while you're there, it's a pain. And then it's like some people are working later, and I'm like, are they going home today? Like it's 8:00.
Like they kind of just come and go. We had windows done a while back, and it was in December or November, and it was really cold still too. So the doors are open, there's windows down. There's just guys coming in and out of the house, and you don't know, like, there's usually like one guy that's kind of will be like, hey, this is what we're doing. We'll be back tomorrow. And it's just kind of it's like you said, it's annoying. We have little kids.
Yeah.
We have a dog now. It's just a lot to have people in and out of your house all the time.
Yeah. And so if you can minimize that anyway, right? Yeah. Again, it goes back to the same thing I keep thinking about with HOMEstretch and the value that it is the fact that it's one person, because we have, I've always been big with agents too, and coaching agents and saying like, you need to have a vendor list, right? You need to have a couple, because you need to have 2 or 3 of each.
Sure.
Because somebody's busy, somebody's sick, they don't have enough time to do this one, they're on vacation, whatever the case is. But painters, plumbers, electricians, like all this, you need to have. So right now, if I just said painters, plumbers, electricians, that's 3 things, and I say they need 3 of each, right? So that's 9 names you need to have in your, like, available to your clients at all times. Well, that's I don't have time for that, right? That's a lot. Right?
You do. It's just not. You're not getting paid for that time.
Right.
It's not a good use of your time.
Right. Because our clients come to us and they think we know everything. Right. And we should have that vendor list. We should be able to provide them a plumber or whatever. But if I have a one-stop person, that's what I'm looking for. If I have a one person, I can say, call HOMEstretch. Here's Dani's number, right? Like call her, let her deal with this. Then I don't have to deal with it, but we're getting it done.
You'll get it done quicker.
Yeah.
You'll get it done at a fair price. You'll get communication consistently. Hey, this is when we're going to start. This is what we're going to do on each day. And then I think what agents really like is she can literally say like, okay, we'll have like, when do you want to get your photos done, the listing? Like, what's that date you would ideally like your pictures done? They'll work the schedule back to make sure that final clean is happening the day before or that morning of the pictures. So the place looks its best for your photos, for your open house, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And now you're not just waiting. And when the work's finally done, then I'll call my photographer and then we'll list it. You'll be able to plan like this house should go to market on this day. And it's going to be a lot sooner than if you were to work through a traditional channel of dealing with multiple people waiting, because you said, I think every good agent has a list of these people.
Yes,
right.
100%.
You have to, right?
Mhm.
You need to. And some of the best ones I've heard are people that will, oh, this person, we have a guy, Jimmy, he'll do all these things for us. All right, well, what do you do if Jimmy's busy?
Right.
That we wait.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
How long are we
how
waiting?
long? Right. Like,
Yeah.
it's like you've done the hard part, right? You got the listing, sell the house.
Yeah.
So you can move on. You can invest your time in getting more listings and growing your business as opposed to just waiting and having to hold people's hand and having it be 3 or 4 months before you can put a place on the market because the person was dragging their feet about getting the work done.
Right. Yeah. And that is the difficult part of what we deal with, because again, people are talking about with upsizing, downsizing, whatever it is, but we're trying to hit the market in stride too.
Mhm.
So the faster we can get to market, the better. The less money we spend up front, the better. Right. Because now if it's all on the back end, we don't notice it
Mhm.
as much. And it's still what it is. But at the same point, so this is the other thing too. And I want everybody to understand this. Like, for your wife to come in, it's a consultation too. It's not
Yeah.
just, well, let's paint it. It's, should I paint? What should I do here? Kind of, right. And it's a consultation of, it's not just a sell of home services. It's a consultation of, where can I get the most bang for my buck here? Right.
Yeah. It's funny. So I was, back in November, I got laid off from my job and I had a little bit of window of time to go on some of the consults with her before I started my next job. And what's great about what she does is she says no more than she says yes to things. Like they'll be like, should we do this? Should we do that? It's like, actually, I don't think you need to do that. That's probably not going to make a difference. And that builds a lot of credibility with the seller.
Yeah.
Because their biggest fear is this person's going to come in and they're running up a tab. They're like, do this, do that, do this. And the minute you can see them go, oh, okay, I don't need to do that. And you're like, no, I know that bothers you because you see it from where you sit on the couch every day, but what's the reality when you do how long are your listings when you come in to see a place? How long are you in the home?
Like the listing appointment, or like,
yeah, if you're taking someone in to go look at a home, how long are you guys spending in that home?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Like tops,
and they're
right?
making a decision probably to make an offer on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so people think someone's going to walk through my house with a fine tooth comb and look for all these problems. No, you find those problems 2 weeks after you moved in.
Right.
That's the reality. It's like, oh, I didn't notice this when we bought the house.
Yeah.
Or
when I start moving furniture around, or furniture goes out then, right?
Yeah.
If it's an occupied house and we're looking around at it, and then all of a sudden we buy it, and then the day we go to move in and all the furniture's out and we see all the scuffs behind the wall from the bed and whatever else is.
Or what I've seen photos of is the carpet wear.
Yes.
Like you have a L-shaped couch. Carpet looks like it's in good shape. Take the couch out and now you see this L-shaped foot trail where it's all beat up and dirty.
And where the couch was, it's nice and bright.
Yeah, totally clean. My house is the same way.
Yeah, so is mine.
We have a big rug down in the living room. If you lift it up, it's like, oh my gosh, look how great that looks.
Yeah,
it's alarming.
Turn it around.
Keep moving it around. So yeah, those are the things like people say, oh, it doesn't need a lot. Well, why don't you take everything out of the home first, and then you said, see what's behind all your cabinets or your dressers in the bed, and all of a sudden you realize maybe the walls are pretty destroyed. Who knows? So
yeah, and it is a big thing, but it again, to the point of, if I could have a one-stop shop where I just sent one person in there, man, it would make my life so much easier.
That's what drew us to it. Having sold things my whole life, I feel like everything I've always sold has been asking someone to do something that's harder or cost them money.
Yeah.
That's usually what you're selling is like, I have this great thing, but you're going to have to do this, or it's going to cost, you have to pay for this. This is like, everybody wins.
Right.
In this scenario.
Right. Everybody wins. I like it when everybody wins. It's great. So where can they find HOMEstretch?
There's a website, HOMEstretch of North Metro Detroit. You can call my wife directly, 248-453-1200. That is the direct line to the business. That's 248-453-1200. Or just do a search for us, HOMEstretch at North Metro Detroit.
HOMEstretch at North Metro Detroit. Find them. And again, guys, this is a service that we all need as realtors. For sure. So, well, guys, if you're listening now or listening later, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Find us wherever you find podcasts. Also, don't forget to join us every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time for our performance lab where we go over AI and emotional intelligence. So we'll see you guys next week. Keep it up. Keep it great. I'm going to see you guys next Friday. Through barriers, deal by deal. Open the gates, life's carousel wheel. Connect, unite, see the potential unfold. Hands